Casper and Dennis here for Submission Radio, proudly brought to you by Elite Sports Bets, the good people who brought down Jorge Masvidal, who also has good stakes in Recuerdo Mezcal, correct?
Yeah.
We remember some things. You are Mr. Worldwide. You're at every single event these days. You're at UFC 247, you're here, 20-hour flight. What's the deal, man?
Work, and more work. And that's aspect of it, you know. A lot of it is contracts getting written up. This one's not with the UFC, but a lot of those times you see me at the fights, the UFC's bringing me over there, you know.
You're not there just for fun. You're there working. It's business, right?
Yeah, well, it could turn into pleasure if I get somebody backstage that wants to act up, you know. That could always be pleasure right away.
Because they say Shevchenko is a spy, but I believe that you're actually the true spy. I think
Yeah.
she's just taking the heat off here, and this is what's really going on.
Yeah, I'm definitely a double agent, man. I'm learning all the secrets of everybody in MMA and then keeping them to myself.
I'm going to ask you, man, seeing as you were there at the fights, everybody's talking about John Jones versus Dominic Reyes in sort of the aftermath. As someone who was there, how did you score that fight? Who do you think won that one?
Definitely the most I've seen Jones get pushed. You know, there was times where I was like, whoa, you know, Dominic's really doing it. It's a close decision. Jones wins the championship rounds, and a couple of those early rounds are like kind of swing rounds, you know, where they could go to Reyes, they could go to Jones. But definitely the fourth and fifth round with Jones, that I can make a testament. The first round was Reyes, maybe the third round was Reyes, something like that, you know. So I wasn't one of these people that thought it was a robbery, but it was definitely a close fight.
You guys are obviously with the same management company. I'm just wondering, like, do you speak to Jones much? You're obviously at this...
Here and there.
Yeah, what kind... Does he give you any advice on dealing with
definitely.
What's a good piece of advice that he sort of mentioned to you that he's picked up over the years?
Like, I'm fighting, he'll give me advice, or we'll talk on a technical standpoint. On business, we don't talk too much about it, but from fighting, yeah, we do share comments and techniques and stuff.
I know that whenever we speak, you talk about how when your team says that you've got an opponent, there's a date, there's a person, that's when you get ready. That's when you go into business mode. How close are we when it comes to Kamaru Usman? Do you enter in that business mode, man?
Looking at my manager, seeing if we got any more news that I know.
We were just speaking to him, and he told us everything, so don't worry.
You're actually fighting Conor McGregor at International Fight Week, not Kamaru Usman. You heard it here first.
I wish, but Conor's not signing up for that for that bus ride. But Usman, we're working on it. We got to get the numbers from the UFC. They're a very smart company, and they got to pay us if they want that type of entertainment, you know?
Well, we were talking to Abe about it, and obviously you're going to bring a lot of the audience for this pay-per-view. Would you say, without a shadow of a doubt, definitely you are the A side going in when it comes to this? Because Kamaru is the champion, but really you're the guy that's going to be bringing the bulk of the audience.
If A stands for alpha, then yeah, so I'm the A side times 10, you know? Who the fuck is Usman, you know?
Do you ever think about the fact that Usman's kind of, his first title defense was against the guy in Colby who promoted the crap out of that fight, and then his second defense is against a fighter like yourself, fighter of the year, who's got, you know, obviously the BMF belt.
You want to fight. You would think any champion would want to fight the fighter of the year in their weight class to extra prove something, to set themselves aside. This guy wants to fight the guy that's ranked under me that he already beat, or if not, do fantasy matchups with guys in Japan or other organizations. If that doesn't let you know what's going to happen, I mean, nothing will, you know. He knows the formula. He knows about me very well. So there's 100 other people he'd rather fight than me.
Well, I was going to say, it's interesting. When we were there in Vegas for 246, he was sort of still saying who, and he was talking about, you know, the lower ranked people.
You would think at that moment, let me sell to the public the biggest fight that I could do, because this guy's fighter of the year. He's in my weight class. Let me go show the world I'm the fighter of the year in this weight class. But no, he doesn't want to do that, you know. Not only is he a bad businessman, he's just a fucking idiot, man.
Do you think he's been forced into this fight with you, now that the UFC is saying...
He's super forced into this fight. Dana said it, and what is he going to do now, you know? So, I mean, I don't think too much of him, so I don't want to talk about the guy too much.
Yeah, the funny thing is, he says who, but then he recognizes you're the Super Bowl press thrower and creates a bit of a situation where you're so far away that nothing can really happen. And then you mentioned in the scrum that he better not confuse you with Colby Covington and a number of...
No, he never would. He sees Ben Askren and Colby, and he runs up on him and he gets this close. He would never in 100 million years get within arm distance of me, you know. I just seen him at the UFC, and
at UFC 247.
Yeah, and I'm behind a barricade, and so is he, and he's with security. He's trying to act like we're gonna fight. They're like, stop, man, you know. Everybody's laughing at you, thinking you're a fucking idiot. Nobody's gonna fight you. You got 5 security guards with you. I got 5 security guards with me. There's a barricade. Stop, you know. But that's who he is. I think he just has to sell a lot of himself for people to engage with him, because it's not working, you know.
I was going to say, what would you say is more personal, the Ben Askren fight or this Usman fight?
None of them are personal. They're all business. All of them are business. But if you ask me whose face I'm going to take more pleasure in breaking, Usman, without a doubt.
Why is that? What is it that sort of, made it so...
I've known this guy for a while, and he's a fucking phony. When I first met him, asking for pictures, hey, huge fan, this and that. Now you're Kamaru Usman, you thug that entertainment. I don't believe it,
It's interesting because obviously there's some big plans. International Fight Week goes to plan. You'll be the double champion, BMF and welterweight champion. Where does Conor McGregor sort? Is he out of the sights once he become champion, or is he still someone that's on your list as potential opponents once he become welterweight champion?
For right now, not thinking about him because I can't force him to get in the fight. We've had this conversation. His camp and the UFC are not trying to make the fight. I can't wait around for nobody, And he's trying to sit out for a while for the winner of Khabib and Tony. Yeah. I could give no fucks about waiting for him or the next fight. I'm just going to continue to work. What I love to do is compete, not to sit around for a man to make decisions. So for the immediate future, it's not happening right now. But can it happen at the end of this year, next year? It's up to him.
What I love is at UFC 246, you had the robe and you were sitting there, you had the 2 bottles in the front row looking like a boss. And then afterwards in the post-fight press conference, Conor McGregor's like, oh, grandmas wear those robes. And then someone's like, well, you actually wore that robe ahead of the Floyd Mayweather fight. What did you make of him kind of trying to tone down the fact you were there, trying to tone down the fact that you were sort of there trying to promote it?
This grandma will whoop his ass. Yeah, for a fact, with that robe on.
One of the highlights of last year, obviously, of your career was that Ben Askren knockout. Because the fight was so short, it just went viral. Everyone was watching it on Insta, on all, short. Now, Edris, being the conspiracy theorist, put out a theory that because Conor was so nice to Cowboy and then came out guns blazing to the left, he was trying to have his own viral moment, maybe beat your record. What do you think of that theory?
Yeah, I think so. And I take my hat off to him for that. I love that shit. I love people trying to push the boundaries. Somebody breaks my record, I'll be the first to stand up and clap for them, I liked it that he went right for it, I like that type of commitment.
You would have been happy if he had even broken your record.
Not happy, but I would have been like, hey, good job, man. I would have fucking, you broke the record, happy, no, because I want to have the record, but I definitely would have been clapping for him.
Obviously the division in an interesting position. You got Leon Edwards versus Tyron Woodley, your friend, coming up in London. I'm just wondering, could those be potential guys that you'd be looking at defending your title against? We know how much of a friendship you have with Woodley once you become champion. Is he someone that's on your radar? Or no. I know you and Leon Edwards already had your moment in the backstage over there in London. So is that a guy that you'd even consider?
Leon, yeah. Leon wins the fight, it's gonna happen. Me and him are gonna definitely fight because now he's a very strong candidate for the fight. And in the case of Woodley, if I had to pick a guy that I wouldn't fight, it'd be him. That's not a guy that I want to fight. But are we gonna fight if we're both in position for the belt? Yeah, we'll do it. And there'd be no heat about it. Afterwards, we go hang out, fucking eat food, talk shit. Me and Woodley got a really good relationship, and we see things very similar. It's just business for us. It's nothing personal.
From 3-piece in a soda to another 3-piece in a soda.
No,
the fight.
No.
Because you'd eat food together.
Leon. Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about Leon. No, yeah, definitely. Hit the buffet after.
Final question, obviously, with Team Ellis gym here, one of the finest boxing gyms out here in Victoria, and we got to bring up the fact that you mentioned it before. Jorge Masvidal, Canelo Alvarez, you're the man that had to stop the fight for over there in New York when you were fighting Nate Diaz because so many people wanted to watch your fight over his fight that was going to happen right after it. I mean, where are you looking in terms of your goals for boxing? We know Zuffa's going to be putting out a boxing promotion very, very soon. Could it be that we see Jorge Masvidal try his hand in boxing in 2020?
I'm not a boxer by trade. So I started with boxing, but I haven't been just strictly boxing twice a day in quite a number of years. So I'm obviously not a boxer by trade. So I want to get paid handsomely to get in there, and I'm going to bring some mayhem in there. There's just certain things that, and I saw it in the Conor fight with Mayweather, there's just certain things that they're not used to that they consider awkward. But that awkwardness still works. We saw Conor land numerous hits on the greatest boxer of our generation. So I don't see myself doing bad in there. I think I can do really, really well.
Just as we let you go, Jorge, I'm sure you're dying for a feed. We're lucky to be joined by basically an audience of all your fans. A lot of people going to check out your speaking tour, which kicks off today. First show's in Melbourne, and then you're going all around Australia. For those who may not be aware of it, what can people expect?
Some wild shit. At some point, once I get the drinks in me, that's it. I don't know what's going to happen.
Tickets are still available. People can go to jorgemasvidal.com.au. There's some.
Yeah, that's it. He said it better.
You got to
than
watch
me.
out for the shoeies though, because you know they're coming your way. When you're down here in Australia, guys. jorgemasvidal.com.au. Make sure to check
Not
out. You
doing
can
the
have
shoeies, man.
dinner, have training with the champ, and of course check out his sessions at night, the evening sessions, the Q&As, and your chance to speak to the fans. We appreciate you flying all the way down here to Australia, man, and checking us out.
Love
Thank
it
you
here,
so
man.
much, man. Enjoy.
Yes, sir.
Have a BMF time in Australia.
Fuck yeah, bro.
One more, Jordan, one more with the actual owner of the gym. One more quick interview with the owner.